and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi Achint. हमारे साथ हैं आज अरिंदम जी. वेलकम बैक सर फॉर अनदर, इफ आई मे से, मजेदार, इंसाइटफुल एंड लर्निंग सेशन. क्योंकि आज थोड़ा हम डीप डाइव करने वाले हैं गाइस, दो तीन चीजों के बारे में. क्योंकि देखिए आपके सामने हो क्या रहा है. वॉर इरप्ट हो रही है, इधर उधर इधर उधर. यूक्रेन की वॉर चली रही थी, उसके बाद इसराइल में शुरू हो जाती है. अफ्रीका में तो हाफ द साहेल, जो नॉर्दर्न अफ्रीका है, वहां पर तो हालत खराब है. इराक इज आउट, सीरिया इज आउट, नाउ ईरान एंड पाकिस्तान इज आउट. उसके बाद अफगानिस्तान की आप हालत देख लीजिए. उस तरफ चलते हैं, नॉर्थ कोरिया. वो अभी लास्ट वीक उसने 200 शेल फायर करे, उसके बाद दोबारा शेलिंग हुई वहां पर. तो ये क्या हो रहा है, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग? इसका कोई हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट है? कोई बड़ा गेम है जो सुपर पावर गेम्स बोलते हैं ना, ग्रेट पावर चैलेंजेस, ग्रेट पावर गेम्स क्या है? विल ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड. क्योंकि दो तीन थ्योरीज हैं जो हमको एक इंसाइट दे सकती हैं कि इस जगह पे ये सब चीजें क्यों हो रही हैं. सो हम लोग इंसिडेंट के बारे में बात करेंगे एंड विल ट्राई एंड कनेक्ट इट टू द थ्योरी एंड सी कुछ अगर हम निकाल सकें उसके अंदर से, व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग. ठीक है. एंड विल सी भारत कहां बैठा है बीच में. दैट वी विल डू फॉर 2-3-5 minutes in the middle. Okay, so that's the main thing. And one of the most important thing, जैसी मैं आप शुरू करने से पहले मेरे को जो अरिंदम जी से पूछना है, व्हाट इज योर ओपिनियन अबाउट व्हाट हैपेंड इन, ये जो ईरान और पाकिस्तान के बीच में सडनली क्या हुआ ये?
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग आदि, गुड इवनिंग टू द व्यूअर. ईरान पाकिस्तान का ना, ये क्या बोलते हैं इसको, पुराने जमाने में इन ओल्ड खानदानी फैमिलीज देयर यूज्ड टू बी अ गाय कॉल्ड, एक आदमी रहता था वहां पे जिसको चपतखोर बोलते थे. ओके, तो चपतखोर का काम था चांटा खाना. तो मतलब किसी ने कुछ गलती कहीं पे कर दिया तो वो आके अपना जो फेस है उसको बढ़ा देता था और उसमें चांटा पड़ा. पाकिस्तान का रोल अभी वैसा चपतखोर जैसा हो गया है. एनीवे, सो कमिंग बैक टू द टॉपिक, ऐसा है कि देखो, ईरान ने तो मिसाइल विसाइल दाग दिए, ठीक है, बट आई हैव अ काइंड ऑफ अ फीलिंग दैट ईरान इज स्ट्रेचिंग इटसेल्फ इन द सेंस, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट जैश अल अदल का बैकग्राउंड है, इट इज म्यूटेटेड इनटू जैश अल अदल टुडे. इट यूज्ड टू बी जुंदुल्ला yesterday. Jundullah has been going after Shia Iranians for a really long time. अब
50 साल.
जैश अल हाँ, अब जैश अल अदल का एक बात है, कुछ दिन पहले there's this update that came in WION which claims that they are tied up with ISKP. Now, the moment you bring ISIS into the picture, then a whole lot of scenario changes, because there's this sudden. In fact, I am writing an essay. Probably it will be out in first post sometimes next week. मेरा को complete करना है उसको, उस पे थोड़ा सा हम research कर रहे हैं. This sudden re-emergence of ISIS at a time when Israel is stretched thin, USA is stretched thin. सब बोल रहा था ना लास्ट पॉडकास्ट में कि सबका वाट लगा हुआ है. Everybody is stretched thin. So this sudden emergence of ISIS as a proxy fighter, which carried out suicide attack during this that IRGC का head था ना, क्या नाम, सुलेमानी का grave में, then they claim responsibility. This WION turns out and tells us that it was actually carried out by Jaish al-Adl group, and this was Iran's retaliation.
ISKP जैश अल अदल का.
हाँ, ISKP / जैश अल अदल. Now the thing is, अभी जैश अल अदल को निकाल देते हैं सीन से. Let's assume that they are a part of ISKP. So let's assume that they are a part of ISIS. अब ISIS को इस टाइम पे resurface होना is a very interesting thing. इतना दिन से चुप था. मतलब 2010-2011 के टाइम में these guys emerged into the picture. 13-14 they had a ball of a time. In fact 15 also they had a ball of a time. Everything the West apparently tried to do to locate them and to destroy them sort of failed. Some 8,000 bombs etc. were dropped on their convoys. Apparently nothing happened. उल्टा United States में उसको ammunition dump करते रहा और बोला वो गलती हो गया. Then when Putin started bombing these guys, in a couple of months' time, these guys literally they like kind of wound up their business. Nikal gaya. Interestingly, Iraq mein at one point in time there were some 35,000 of them. At the end of the bombing spree and all, there was about 10,000 left. Okay, so some 25,000 died. Yet 10,000 suddenly upped and disappeared into Turkey. Now that's one part of the story. We all know जब वो Syrian oil field से तेल निकाल रहा था तो Turkey was the one that was buying their oil from them. So we all know who their backers are. When they were injured, we know all the hospital that treated them. This ISIS fighter. Okay, सबसे पहला बात तो यह है कि यार इतना उसको टोयोटा कहाँ से मिलता था, इतना टोयोटा ट्रक कहाँ से मिलता था, कौन देता था उसको टोयोटा?
तुर्की
हाँ हाँ
तुर्की
Yeah. So their Toyota trucks, their ammunitions, their like
Rockies.
mile-long Toyota trucks. Nobody can locate them. Apparently, US that can locate everything cannot locate ISIS. जब time आ गया तब वो लोग निकल लिए. Now this interesting thing, an analysis that has come out is the fact that 2019-20 के बाद when this Baghdadi died and their new caliph was anointed, their new caliph came into power, he called those 10,000 guys back from Turkey and parts of Syria. Now, by that time, then Iraqi borders had gotten very strong. So getting in was a little difficult. Suddenly, United States, American forces started coming in and they started goli maro in Iraqi borders. And ये जो chaos होता था, इसके अंदर से these guys used to escape into Iraq. There is a valley in Iraq called Huran Valley, where it's like one of the last frontiers of Iraq जहाँ पे कोई नहीं जाता. It's a very dangerous landscape. Law and order का situation बहुत खराब है. It's the largest valley in Iraq. It's a desert valley, desert with those rugged mountains and all. वहाँ पे there are hundreds of ISIS Iraqi. एक मिनट रुको यार, इसका नाम कहीं पे मैंने लिखा था. I must have written this guy's name somewhere. I'm forgetting. Anyway, my usual, usual problem. I keep writing and I keep forgetting. So this politician, Hassan something of Iraq, he's an MP, he's a politician in Iraq. He is gone out open and he said, yes, you can quote me. United States is sheltering these guys, it's protecting these guys, it's training these guys. We had ordered a strike. We had ordered the military strike, and our military strike got struck by US airplanes. So we had to retreat. Yeah. So coming back to what I was saying is that ये ईरान पाकिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है कि ISIS has made a comeback. And this wonderfully ties to your theory of what you were saying about those unknown gunmen, that somebody is cleaning it because they are creating space for a new breed of fighters to take over.
Next generation.
Next generation and a different ideology. जिसको मार रहे थे अभी जो all those unknown gunmen killing all this ex Mujahideen and ex go between Taliban and Pakistan army and ISI and so to say. These were all Hanafi and Deobandi guys. ISIS is pure Salafi school of thought, Wahhabi Salafi school of thought. So there's this new vacuum which is being created where probably these ISIS guys would be coming in. And that would be a start of a new chapter. But we can, going back to what you were saying, is war in Iraq, war in Iraq, war in Iran, war in Israel, war in Pakistan, war in South Korea, in North Korea, everywhere. Asia is burning once again. Yeah, the entire
belt hai.
what we call rimland, will come there, is burning. And when you said in the last podcast that we have that we are going to be talking about Heartland. So this is probably the time in the podcast where we can talk a little bit about Heartland.
चलो, let's get into it. मैं ये slides लगा देता हूँ. Guys, please mark these maps very carefully. ये बड़े interesting है. And Arindam ji, मैं आपसे एक request करूँगा, whenever we talk about like either Mackinder's theory or the other one, Mahan's thing, इनकी जो books हैं, please recommend it to the viewers so that they can also read through and kind of look at it.
All right. So Mackinder का वैसे कोई किताब नहीं है. 1904 में there's this geographer, British. I'll talk about where this Heartland thing came in. 1904 में this British geographer called Halford Mackinder, he presented a theory. And that theory was, that the name of the paper which he published and which he presented was the Geopolitical Pivot. So you can, whoever is interested can Google up Halford Mackinder geopolitical pivot of world history, and they'll find the entire paper there. You can
Essay.
download that and you can keep. Yeah.
22
So
pages, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry.
होगा है कहीं पे मेरे पास. Again, I
Hmm.
store and I forget. मैकेंडर ने क्या किया? मैकेंडर ने, now there are several things that he did. He presented the map as you see in front of you, where he said this, this tangential line, if you start drawing from Afghanistan and reach up to Kamchatka, up far east in Soviet Union or Russia, and then you cross it all over and come down to somewhere just around in the regions of Norway and Sweden, and then trace the line back between Caspian Sea and Black Sea, and once again, वो अफगानिस्तान वाला लाइन से उसको अगर जुड़ दो, this is the area which Halford Mackinder called heartland or the pivot area. Now, Halford Mackinder ka theory, to cut a long story short, was that whoever rules the heartland rules the world island, and whoever rules the world island rules the world. वर्ल्ड आइलैंड कौन सा है? हैल्फोर्ड मैकिंडर के डेफिनेशन में वर्ल्ड आइलैंड वाज यूरोप एंड एशिया एंड अफ्रीका to some extent, but yeah, it's mostly यूरेशिया was his
Hmm.
world island, and world island के बीचों बीच जो जगह है, which is the pivot area, that is the heartland, and whoever controls the heartland controls the world island. Now he
Right.
had, okay, so now you have to look at the time. The time was 1904. Now Halford Mackinder has had the Halford Mackinder based his dictum on the past 300-400 or 500 years of aggression that was stemming out from Central Asia. First, it was the Huns that hit Europe. Then it was the Mongols that hit Europe. And then it was Russia. It did not hit Europe, but it started expanding. So he was
Hmm.
essentially looking at land expansionist power. And there is also this interesting fact that 1880 to 1910, 1915 was the time when which is known as big think. A big think ये है कि people like Halford Mackinder and other political analysts and other geographers and other philosophers, political philosophers, they were marveling at the technological advancement that had come as a result of industrialization. Okay, the change in warfare, the change in communication, the change in transport, the change in manufacturing, and all of these things. And they were like, dewy-eyed. They were wondering, oh my God, that's huge amount of changes that has happened. And they were trying to find out how these changes are going to affect the world going forward. Okay. A result of which is what Halford Mackinder used to think, ki, the time of seafaring is over. So there was a Spanish era at one point in time, and there was a British imperialism / colonialism era at one point of time, and these were essentially naval powers. And so they could sail around the entire world wherever they wanted to go, and they could establish their colonies all around the world. But now, with technological advancement and with the diffusion of technology, और डिफ्यूजन ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी उसको कहाँ से उसने क्लू मिला? रशिया वेंट टू इंग्लैंड, रशियन किंग, आई थिंक इट वाज पीटर, somebody who visited England
Hmm.
and who was so impressed with the industrial, the shipbuilding, initiatives that England was taking. He cascaded industrialization in Russia, and post-industrialization, Russia became what it became. I mean, we all know about the Great Game, right? The game that was being played between the English Empire and the Russian Empire. So Halford Mackinder saw that there's been a diffusion of technology. People who are land powers, and Russia is a land power. People who are land powers are getting stronger. Whatever technology we have today, they have the same technology. पहले पहले बहुत आसान होता था, you sail around the world and you go and you conquer a territory and you convert it into colony. आगे जाके it will be difficult. The powers that are squatting there in the land would find it easier to fight a defensive fight vis-a-vis somebody who's trying to be the aggressor and somebody who's trying to colonize that land. Hence, Russia as a land expansionist power sitting spot in the middle of a Eurasian continent landmass is holding the key, and it is very crucial for you all as in England and America and everybody, because Halford Mackinder was a British. Hence, it is imperative for you all to control the heartland, because if you control the heartland, then you have the entire Eurasian continent to yourself. So that was the क्या बोले उसको, that was the beginning of the heartland. And Adi, I cannot tell you the kind of impact that it has had over the world amongst all of these nations.
पूरा ऑर्डर इसके ऊपर बना है इनका।
पूरा ऑर्डर इसके ऊपर बना है। I mean, हम लोग ये नीचे वीचे लेके बहुत बात करते हैं, and we talk about philosophers and we talk about all of these guys who given us wonderful philosophical theories and all. But real politics में आज के दिन में in real life, in international affairs, three guys, Alfred Mahan, Halford Mackinder and Nicholas Spikeman, ये तीनों का जो influence रहा है और अभी भी जो influence है, जो आज जो चल रहा है, what you are saying is a result of this heartland and rimland and etc. etc. Okay.
Absolutely.
So that is your, in a nutshell, that is your heartland. Whoever's in heartland theory of Alfred Mackinder, whoever's interested can go through that, geopolitical pivot of the world, and you can read it. 1904. Interestingly, इससे कुछ साल पहले, 1890, there was this gentleman. He was an American gentleman by the name of Alfred Mahan. Alfred Mahan,
No.
yeah.
This one or the next one?
This one. Mahan is the guy. A couple of decades before Halford Mackinder presented his geopolitical theory, Alfred Mahan created this, what you see right in front of your screen. He said that, whoever rules the seas is going to rule the world. And like Halford Mackinder had based his dictum out of his observations of the Huns and the Mongols and the Russians, Mahan had based his dictum out of out by observing the Spanish and the British forces that sailed around the world and made colonies out of everyone, literally everyone. Mahan का ब्रिलियंस वाज देयर। आज के दिन में भी जो चोक पॉइंट्स में हम लोग का झंझट होता है ना, स्ट्रेट ऑफ मलाक्का, अभी ये जो गल्फ ऑफ एडन में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है एंड ऑल, ही पॉइंटेड दिस चोक पॉइंट्स आउट बैक इन 1890. This is what he pointed out in 1890. कि these are going to be a predominant route, sea route, and these all are going to be your choke points. Whoever maintains a control on these maritime routes is going to control the maritime commerce. And given the volume of commerce that happens through ships, it goes without saying that whoever controls the sea controls the entire global economy. And Alfred Mahan also predicted that the same way it was Spain first and England next, going ahead it would be United States in future. This he did in 1890. And he was a very impressive guy because he had even impressed the German generals. अभी सुनने को आता है कि there were several German generals that had ordered कि हर एक शिप जो रहेगा जर्मन नेवी में, हर शिप में एक ये अल्फ्रेड महान का एक किताब रहेगा, ये मैरीटाइम इन्फ्लुएंस.
They were very influenced by it, correct?
Yeah. So now you have Alfred Mackinder who has a theory which is land-based, and now you have an Alfred Mahan who has a theory. In fact, Mahan was earlier than Alfred Mackinder, who has a theory which is sea-based. And based on that, if you see United States, and this everybody agrees, United States is not a very good land power. United States is a superb sea power. United States has maintained its supremacy because it's the number one bully in the high sea. And Mears, I must say is another interesting thing कि यार तुम 100 आर्मी मूव करो, 100 आदमी का कोई ट्रूप मूव करो, it will be headline news. If you silently move a few ships and a few submarines from here to there, it won't even find a mention in the newspaper because nobody is interested, because that's not eye-catching.
मैं एक चीज, if you don't mind, I'll just add here. जो 1945 में सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में एक चीज हुई थी, ब्रेटन वुड कॉन्फ्रेंस बोलते हैं उसको, ठीक है, उसके आसपास में एक डील रखी गई थी अमेरिका की तरफ से दुनिया को कि साहब देखो ऐसा है, मेरे पास बहुत बड़ी नेवी है, मैं ये जितने भी चोक पॉइंट्स हैं आपके, और आज प्लीज इनको देखिए, ये चोक पॉइंट्स में आज फिर से झगड़े हैं. लुक एट द टर्किश स्ट्रेट्स जो ब्लैक सी के ऊपर है, जहां पर पुतिन और यूक्रेन के बीच में, रशिया और यूक्रेन के बीच में झगड़ा चल रहा है. नंबर 5, ठीक है. नंबर 6 पनामा कनाल, जहां से अमेरिका के अंदर भर भर के आपकी इमिग्रेशन जा रही है, इलीगल इमिग्रेशन, सो देयर इज एन इशू देयर. नंबर 3 सुएज कनाल, जहां पर इजराइल हमास ये चल रहा है वहां पर.
Yeah.
नंबर 4 जहां पर आपका क्या नाम है,
अभी
हुतीज
शुरू हुआ
तंग
हुतीस।
तंग करके बैठे हैं। नंबर 1 जहां पर पाकिस्तान ईरान का झगड़ा चल रहा है। एंड नंबर 2 स्ट्रेट्स ऑफ मलाका जहां पर हमारा होल्ड है इस
चाइना
टाइम
के
पे,
साथ।
और चाइना चाइना की गर्दन पकड़ने का कैपेबिलिटी है। लुक एट दिस वेरी क्लियरली गाइस। तो जैसे मैं बोल रहा था 1945 में यूएस ने बोला दुनिया को कि साहब ऐसा है, आपको जो जहां पर भी जाना है, जो मर्जी ट्रेड करना है करो, मेरी नेवी ये पूरी जगह को पेट्रोल करेगी, लेकिन जब भी आप कोई सिक्योरिटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाएंगे उसमें मैं हमेशा हूंगा। आई एम, यू हैव टू टेक मी इनटू कंसिडरेशन, विदाउट मी कुछ नहीं है। तो अगर आप ये 5-6 चोक पॉइंट देख लीजिए, इनमें यूएस का डोमिनेशन रहा है, ठीक है। एंड वो डोमिनेशन आज चैलेंज हो रहा है, एंड दैट इज व्हाई यू सी व्हाट इज हैपनिंग। प्लीज।
Thank you. And very vital points and very good mentions actually. In fact, if it were left to me, I wouldn't have mentioned all these choke points so specifically with the events that were happening today. So thank you very much. Okay. Now, what happened was this was 1890, Alfred Mahan, and then 1904, Halford Mackinder. Beach में there were two world wars that happened. The concept of geopolitics came in. Geopolitics suddenly became a very negative word because the Germans were mighty smitten by geopolitics because उसका थोड़ा background था वो क्या नाम है उसका कोई एक आदमी था अगेन मैं नाम भूल गया रात्सल Theodore
राजल।
Ratzel. He is the guy who coined this word Lebensraum. State is a living entity and it has to expand. So Hitler got hooked onto that idea, and his thing was that if I am a living being, if my state is a living being, we have to expand. Hence, let us get into Poland, let us get into here, there, everywhere, wherever possible. So geopolitics became a very negative word. But back in 1940, there's a gentleman by the name of Nicholas Spikeman who created another theory. Okay,
Should I
I
go
know,
next?
guys. If this is getting a little loaded, then maybe you would want to get back to the video once again. So you had a heartland which was covered by Mackinder. You had all the sea routes that was pointed out and that was pinpointed rather by Mahan. Now you have a Spikeman, an American, who comes here and who says that, boss, let's talk about something called containment. So if you don't
हम्म,
have heartland, yeah, if you don't
अब
have
आए ना।
heartland, अब आएगा मजा. Now this is the game of chess that is now being created.
प्लेड
So now that you don't have heartland, and remember, guys, Spikeman wrote this book back in the 40s when it
40s।
was it was sort of decided that Soviet Union is here to stay. The pushback, the famous Stalin ka pushback had started or was about to start. Soviet Union was not going anywhere. It was controlling literally the entire Central Asian landmass. Okay, and it had access to till about Afghanistan. तो वो तो पहले से ही था. So Spikeman comes with the idea that so what if you don't have a control of the heartland? If you can somehow control the rimland, this red area is rimland. If you can somehow control the rimland, you can contain a heartland power. Hence the containment theory. Now, American planners, what they did was maritime to apne paas hai. They were the lord of the sea routes, the biggest pirates that exists today. So usko lege koi tension nahi. As far as heartland and rimland is concerned, they integrated this concept wonderfully. And there's somebody by the name of George Kennan, whose work I would want you guys to find out. And he was an American statesman, and Kennan is known as the godfather of the American containment policy. So Keenan was the one who mixed Mackinder and Spikeman. He said, "ठीक है, Heartland goes to Russia, Rimland comes to us." Hence, United States says focus on Western Europe post 1945. Hence, Marshall Plan. Hence, the rebuilding of Europe. Hence the defanging of Germany. कि यार ये Germany का, because Germany, if you look at the geographic location of Germany, Germany is essentially a Central European power, and a Central European power historically has got a huge chance of being influenced by East European power, which is Russia. And Germany and Russia has had good relationship. In fact, even after the Second World War, till the time they, like, the sabotage the Nord Stream, Germany and Russia had a good relationship. And in fact, it was this fear of Germany getting close to Russia or getting drawn close to Russia was what sort of prompted United States to blow up the Nord Stream. That's a lot of people's guess. So that is why the defanging of Germany was required. That is why now you see, हम लोग तेल तो बोलते हैं, when we talk about Saudi Arabian oil तो बोलते रहते हैं, but Saudi Arabia is also a part of the rimland. So that explains why United States was so friendly with Saudi Arabia, wanted to be. They were very friendly with Iran. Iran is a part of the rimland.
गया वो हाथ से.
Something happened. हाँ, वो गया हाथ. Something happened. Pakistan ka kahani we have done n number of times, so you don't. I mean, I don't need to go back. Now I look at like South Korea, Japan, Philippines, Vietnam, idhar aake India, everywhere. They are either friendly with these people, or they try to dominate these people, or they try to subvert the government which is running the country if their government doesn't agree with the United States. Rimland. This was taken up by Kissinger. This was taken up. Kissinger ka wo China ka ping pong diplomacy. Kissinger considered China to be a part of the Rimland. Yes, if you look at the map, if you look at the Rimland, significant part of China comes under the Rimland. Then you had Brzezinski, who was looking after this side, the Afghan side. So he needed Afghanistan, he needed Pakistan, and he turned them against Soviet Union. And so they were like, that was their strategy to contain Soviet Union, to see that, heartland always remained in conflict. You had the 2000s when you
आपने
had
एक चीज
Soviet
बोली है
Union.
अभी. आपने एक
बोलो.
चीज बोली है अभी. Heartland always remain in conflict.
Yeah.
ठीक है, सॉरी मैं आपको इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ, बट हार्टलैंड ऑलवेज रिमेन इन
Please, please.
कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. आज भी देखिए गाइस, आज की सिचुएशन को आप कनेक्ट करिए, हार्टलैंड एंड रिमलैंड दोनों में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, एक्सेप्ट फॉर 2-3 एरियाज विच आर स्टेबल. एंड वो जो 2-3 एरिया जो स्टेबिलिटी के निकल रहे हैं, दोज आर गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर स्टेबल पॉइंट्स. बाकी पूरी झड़प होगी. तो अगर आप ऊपर से देखिए, यूरोप में झड़प हो रही है, ये अरेबियन पेनिनसुला के शुरू में झड़प हो रही है, अरेबियन पेनिनसुला के एंड में झड़प हो रही है, चाइना वहां पर फिलीपींस में झड़प हो रही है, और नॉर्थ कोरिया में झड़प हो रही है. ये वही पॉइंट्स है मैंने जो इनिशियली बोला. और ये आप एक रिंग देख लीजिए, इसमें स्टेबिलिटी कहाँ आएगी? सऊदी अरेबिया, भारत, जापान.
And imagine, Adi, this is a 1943 picture.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, that is why I keep saying कि ये सब जितना भी बहुत सारे shows होते हैं, बहुत सारे podcasts होते हैं, बहुत सारे fancy talks होते हैं, but the fact is that whatever is happening is rooted in 1940s and 1950s and rooted in the Second World War and the Cold War era. बस उसको छोड़ के आप कुछ सोच नहीं सकते हो. No matter how much of technological advancement you make, no matter how much of touch screen phones you use and how much of access you have. This is 1943 map, and mark what Adi said. This is where the problem areas are. This is where everything is happening today. So all along the rimland. Okay. So you had 2000, going back to what I was saying, you had 2000 when Russia sort of disintegrated, Soviet Union sort of disintegrated, and Central Asia became an open property. Then immediately United States and West, everybody rushed in for Central Asian Central Asian gas, Turkmen gas. The idea was कि बस ये एक मौका हम लोग को मिला है सेंट्रल एशिया में अपना फुटहोल्ड जमाने का. Somehow it did not happen because Turkmen gas was supposed to find its escape route through Afghanistan, and the Taliban that was ruling there that point in time, 1990s. Incidentally, Taliban was, जब Taliban आया था first time में, the only few governments that recognized, United States was one of them that recognized the government. Okay. So that was a time when all Halliburton and all these guys took Taliban to the Texas, and they wined and they, sort of supplied women and everything to the Taliban leaders, because that Trans-Afghan pipeline was a big thing. And the Taliban had said that, okay, we would allow the Trans-Afghan pipeline to sort of pass through our land. The Taliban's come back to Afghanistan and they demand a hefty transit fee. Again, Central Asia falls into this thing, problem. Because इसको foothold जमाने का था, दे वांटेड टू डिग सेंट्रल एशियन गैस, तुर्कमेन गैस, बट ये तालिबान इतना ट्रांजिट फी मांग रहा है कि ये नामुमकिन हो गया. द प्रोजेक्ट वाज गॉट डम्प्ड.
तो उसको
दैट वाज द, हाँ,
बताओ,
सॉरी,
उसको
yeah,
फिर आग
that
लगाना.
was the time. That was the time. This is July 2001 when George Bush said we are planning to attack Afghanistan by the end of this year. I mean, little wonder why September 2001 happened, and then they found a reason and they attacked Afghanistan. Okay. And today you again have ISKP, which is a offshoot of ISIS, which is again, वो ISIS का कुछ लोग जो टर्की भाग गए थे, अभी वो लोग हुरान वैली में आ गए, पता नहीं कैसे पहुंचे हैं. अपना अंकल इज सॉर्ट ऑफ शील्डिंग देम. कुछ
अंकल
आइसिस
लेके
को
आया
उसने
है.
सेंट्रल, हाँ अंकल लेके आया, शील्ड कर रहा है. कुछ कुछ आइसिस को इसने अफगानिस्तान भी भेज दिया. Those guys are
पाकिस्तान
the
में.
ones that Pakistan mein, those are the guys that created this trouble that is happening. Those are the guys that are probably have impressed upon the Pakistan intelligence ki boss, we are your new, the next generation mujahideen.
ठीक
So
है. अभी
Taliban,
मैं आपको,
which is, हाँ बोलो बॉस.
हाँ, नहीं, अभी मैं आपको थोड़ा सा गाइज, अब मैं आपको ये जो अरिंदम जी ने बोला ना, अरिंदम जी मैं आपको अभी लेके जाता हूँ. आई विल कनेक्ट अ डॉट दैट यू गिवन. जबरदस्त डॉट है. हाँ, यू विल आल्सो बी काइंड ऑफ वेस्ट एशिया में 2010 के बाद, 9-10 के बाद, ठीक है, ऑर्डर
Yeah,
चेंज होना था, बॉर्डर्स चेंज होने थे. कर्डिस्तान वाज सपोज्ड टू बी ब्रॉट इन, होल लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स वर
yeah,
सपोज्ड टू बी डन. कौन आया वहां पर? आइसिस.
ISIS.
आइसिस आया, उसने एग्जिस्टिंग बॉर्डर्स तोड़े और आज नए बॉर्डर्स फॉर्म हो रहे हैं वहां पर. 2023 हमारे रीजन के आसपास बॉर्डर्स चेंज होने हैं. अरिंदम जी, आपने किसका नाम लिया, जरा दोबारा बोलना.
ISIS.
ठीक है, तो अगर मैं आपकी परमिशन चाहूंगा एक स्लाइड दिखाने को.
Please,
जो एक
please.
कर्नल रॉल्फ पीटर्स हैं, जिन्होंने 2004-5 में एक पेपर लिखा था,
Okay.
रीड्रॉइंग द बॉर्डर्स ऑफ द मिडिल ईस्ट.
Oh yes, I have seen
ठीक
that
है,
map. Yes,
तो
yes, yes.
अब जरा
Very.
थोड़ा सा
हाँ हाँ, उसको
जरा
निकालो
गाइस,
निकालो. This
जरा
will be
आप ना
interesting.
अभी थोड़ा सा अपनी कुर्सी वुर्सी पकड़ लो, बिकॉज व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू शो यू. और ये चीज पहले हमने डेफ टॉक्स में करी है, जनरल नारायण
Oh,
के
you've
साथ
shown them?
ऑलमोस्ट एक साल पहले करी है, बट लोगों को उस टाइम पे कनेक्शन नहीं हुआ होगा सर. कनेक्शन आज होगा जब जिस जिस जगहों में बॉर्डर चेंज होने हैं ना, वहां पर आग लग चुकी है. लेट्स गो इनटू दिस मैप. लुक एट दिस. एंड गाइस, बहुत लोग कमेंट करेंगे, मैं पहले ही बोल रहा हूँ, ये जो आप गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान इसके ऊपर कमेंट करेंगे, अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज एन अमेरिकन मैप, ये मेरा मैप नहीं है. ओके, सो लेट मी पुट दैट डिस्क्लेमर राइट हियर. एंड अमेरिकन थ्योरी के हिसाब से दैट टाइम भारत वाज नॉट सपोज्ड टू ग्रो दिस बिग. भारत वाज सपोज्ड टू बी डोमिनेटेड बाय द अमेरिकन्स.
Yeah.
गड़बड़ क्या हुई है, भारत थोड़ा सा अभी हो गया है. तो मैप्स ऑलवेज चेंज. अब देखिए, प्लीज गो ऑन टू टर्की, जहां पर लिखा हुआ है. ठीक है, आपको ये करंट दिखता है? डू यू सी एनी कंट्री कॉल्ड कर्डिस्तान टुडे? एक धीरे धीरे करके एक फॉर्म हो रहा है. माय पॉइंट इज, दे डिड इट द लास्ट टाइम यूजिंग आइसिस. एंड आइए जरा नेबरहुड पे आते हैं, पाकिस्तान पे. पाकिस्तान का बलूचिस्तान कहां है आज ये मैप के अंदर? फ्री. अफगानिस्तान हैज टेकन ओवर केपीके, जो आज आपको होता हुआ दिख रहा है, राइट. ईरान का बॉर्डर शिफ्ट हुआ है. ठीक है, इजराइल के अंदर अगर आप देखें, वहां पर गाजा नहीं है,
नहीं है.
वेस्ट बैंक अभी भी डिस्प्यूटेड दिखा रहा है वो. जॉर्डन का थोड़ा मैप चेंज हुआ है. सऊदी अरेबिया में देखिए क्या हो रहा है आज. बोलता है साहब मैं सिटी बनाऊंगा नियोम, जिसमें सब कुछ होगा. ठीक है, तो काफी अभी the Islamic thing will also be need to be protected. तो एक Islamic sacred state बनेगा, जैसे Vatican है ना अभी. Vatican is a country within a country.
Yeah.
Right? This is how the new world order जो बोलते हैं will be formed. जो historical mistakes की गई थी after the Second World War, जो आपने, by the way, Arindam, last time you explained to us, British और French ने जो treaties करी थी साथ में अपने to divide this region, right? The mistakes that were made then are going to be corrected today. Please, over to you.
Yeah. I mean, this map is very interesting. You know, the issue is that this is a very interesting map. The issue is it puts us in a bind as far as India is concerned.
Big time.
Big time. यार support किसको करोगे?
उसके लिए मेरे पास 2 और मैप्स हैं.
And that
उसके
is
लिए 2
where
और मैप्स हैं, वो उससे बात करेंगे.
Okay, we can. But as of now, that is where I am like I am a big fan of Jai Shankar, because his approach is something which I quite like. Ki bas, as we grow in power, I mean, just yesterday I think he was having this nice little round of chat with somewhere in वो News 18 का channel है, CNN News 18 में Jacobs, Zaka Jacobs or something. He was having a chat.
I don't
good
know,
half an hour,
okay.
45 minutes chat while I was having my dinner. He said that, Bus, we are growing in power, so we will grow in assertion, which is a natural thing. So pehle we used to be pushover. Now, if people try to push us, we'll resist, and people understand that. So whatever dealings we have is going to be on our relation with that particular country, and what all leverages and what all advantages, and we can like kind of mutually share between the two of us. Why I'm saying this is that the map, the Middle Eastern part, where there is Syria and where there is Jordan, and there is reshaping of Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, etc., and the creation of a Kurdistan ka to pata nahi. United States badly ditched the Kurdish people. But what they were trying to do is they were trying to recreate the map of Syria with creating ISIS stronghold and uska caliphate kuch banane ka plan kar raha tha, which Russia sort of walked into this game and like kind of messed it up big time.
तो रशियन को ऑक्यूपाई कराना आपने जाके यूक्रेन में. ओए तू इधर कहां आ रहा है,
उधर जा. Abhi, what I'm saying is, Adi, why I'm saying this is, now if they're trying to play the same game today in Pakistan by trying to carve a Balochistan out of it, it would be a good thing. But my question back to you then is, would they want to? In the sense that, इतना साल का रिलेशनशिप है पाकिस्तान के साथ यार, पाकिस्तान जो बोल रहे तुम कर रहे हो, जितना पैसा मांग रहे तुम दे रहे हो, यू हैव क्रिएटेड दिस 1.5 बिलियन IMF का कुछ तो करके तुमने पाकिस्तान को दिला भी दिया है कि हम जो बोलेंगे वो करना, बट एट द एंड ऑफ इट तुम पाकिस्तान को काट दोगे क्या ऐसे? आर यू गोइंग टू बल्कनाइज पाकिस्तान?
ऑसम क्वेश्चन. मैं आपको इसका थोड़ा सा एक सॉल्यूशन बताता हूँ. दिस इज अ प्रपोजल. इसके अंदर भारत थोड़ा सा वीक था, थोड़ा नहीं बहुत वीक था. Bharat was not expected to grow like this till 2050.
Grow like this, yeah.
जो आज आप बैठे हो, they said 2050 में होंगे आप. 40-50 के बीच में they were showing the growth जो आज $3 to $4 trillion. ये इनका उस टाइम का है प्लान. तो आप 20 साल प्रीपोन हो गए हो. Right? What has happened here is, रशिया ने इनको करा, but रशिया के अंदर 2-3 vulnerabilities थी. Russia completely downsized its influence after it fell. Russia used to dominate Africa यार. जो आज वो करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, 80s 90s में used to dominate Africa, 80s में especially. ये region Russia dominate करता था. Russian fighters are there in all these countries. वो पीछे हटा ना. And now he's trying to re-exert, so he's been pushed back there. So there will be certain changes in terms of all this stuff. But अगर आप देखो हो क्या रहा है in terms of Pakistan, you can see Pakistan is already gone यार. फाटा वाटा जो भी area था वो तो गया already.
Oh, those areas are gone, which is true actually. वहाँ पे कोई political power नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. Those areas are literally gone. I mean, for formality's sake, they exist in the map of Pakistan.
You can still continue with it.
Yeah.
वो कर
We
लो
will
आप, वो कोई
continue
प्रॉब्लम नहीं है,
showing that. Yeah.
ठीक है।
Because
नाउ
the way
इसके
this
ऊपर,
guys. हाँ, please, sorry.
नहीं नहीं, आप बोल रहे थे कि ये तो, यू कैन कीप कंटिन्यूइंग शोइंग वट एवर मैप यू वांट टू, बट द एक्चुअल एरिया ऑफ कंट्रोल तो यही है ना।
और एक और बात दिमाग में आ रहा है आदि, एज वी कीप चैटिंग, इज दैट ये, आई मीन, इफ डाउनसाइजिंग पाकिस्तान, balkanizing पाकिस्तान, carving पाकिस्तान can be proven good, why आप पूछो? Because of BRI, because of CPEC.
आप ईरान के अटैक देखो कहां पर हुए हैं, कनेक्ट करिए
या
जी।
या
दो
हाँ,
टाउन्स हैं, पंजगुर और तोरबत, ऑन द रोड ऑफ सीपेक।
CPEC, या
बाय द वे, ग्वादर पोर्ट अपनी बिजली कहां से लेता है सर?
कहाँ से?
ईरान से।
अच्छा, ओके, दैट्स
दूसरी चीज
इंटरेस्टिंग।
बता रहा हूं सर, लुक एट द फैक्टर दैट आप चाबार में घुसे 2015 में, ठीक है, आपने बोला हम ये करेंगे वो करेंगे। 2016 में चाइनीज आए, वहां पर $400 बिलियन की बात करनी शुरू हो गए उनसे। आपने बोला वो जरान से क्या, डी से नाम है, की फॉरगेटिंग द सिटी यार, वो नॉर्थ जाती है ना, जो एक रेलवे लाइन, जरान, ओके, देयर इज अनदर सिटी नॉर्थ इन ईरान, आप वहां पर रेलवे लाइन बनाओगे, आपने बनाई नहीं वो रेलवे लाइन। चाइनीज टुक एडवांटेज, उन्होंने वहां पर बनानी शुरू कर दी। यू सक चाइना इनटू ईरान बाय द वे, लुक एट इट वेरी क्लियरली।
या
पाकिस्तान में नाउ, इफ चाइना गेट सक्ड इनटू ईरान, वेयर डज सीपीईसी गो?
That's the main reason. That's what I'm saying. That only one thing can, sort of justify this balkanization of Pakistan on the part of United States if they want to, which is like to damage China. Because CPEC
Yeah.
का Arabian Sea का, मतलब Belt and Road का Arabian Sea का, this is the only one connection, warm water port.
Yep.
बाकी तो वो लोग का प्रॉब्लम है, बाकी सब जगह पे वो मार खा रहा है अभी. So yeah,
Absolutely.
this could be one nice way to block a lot of money that China has invested. But then again comes the fact that Pakistan, a functioning Pakistan in the sense of Pakistan which is functioning to the satisfaction of United States of America, a functioning Pakistan is required till the time they sort of establish a kind of a control over India. ये भी important है, ये भी दिमाग में रखना है.
Zaranj Dilaram highway.
Okay, thanks Gaurav. Yeah. So you would have ISIS, which is probably going to try and make a comeback in Kashmir. या तो हो सकता है वो लोग घर, मतलब local recruitment करेंगे या बाहर से fighter लाएंगे, कुछ भी करेंगे. And ISIS is also as sort of kind of gaining in some amount of importance in Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. आपने ये कि इस तुर्कस्तान movement has sort of merged with the ISKP.
ठीक है, तो वो
So
एक
again,
वेपन बन गया आपके चाइना में घुसने के लिए। तो आप
and
घुसो
so again,
अफगानिस्तान में, पकड़े जाओगे वहां पर, चाइनीज घुसेंगे वखान के अंदर।
So again, it's that's this heartland and the rimland part that like brings us back to Eurasia, brings us back to Halford Mackinder, brings us back to what these guys said so many years ago, and the kind of क्या बोलते हैं, the kind of concerted effort that all these policy planners in the West have kind of taken and are putting in this project of Mahan, Mackinder, and Spikeman to see that Eurasia keeps burning, Eurasia keeps poor and keeps divided and stays divided and stays conflicted, and while United States sits pretty. अच्छा, इसमें एक interesting चीज है, ये मेरा theory है. While United States sits pretty and Mayor Simon says कि यार दो साइड में दो बड़ा बड़ा ओशन है, हम लोग का क्या कौन कुछ करेगा. For that, I would really hope and pray Justin Trudeau stays in power for 20 more years, because the way he is inviting all these Palestinians and Syrians and North Africans, ये लोग कुछ 2-4 मिलियन वहां पे ले जाए यार, और उसके बाद I want to see यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स का बॉर्डर ट्रबल शुरू नॉर्थ से, फिर तो मजा आ जाएगा.
ठीक है,
और फिर ये हम लोग आइसोलेटेड ज्योग्राफी है, ये फंडा बिल्कुल चला जाएगा, इट विल गो आउट ऑफ द विंडो.
एब्सोल्युटली, आपने यू लिटरली स्टोल द वर्ड्स ऑफ माय माउथ कि आइसोलेटेड ज्योग्राफी का फंडा जाएगा डब्बे में.
हाँ, एकदम.
सर जी, तो
Yes,
ये
please.
हमारा डिस्कशन है। मैं 2 मिनट और लूंगा बिफोर वी गेट इनटू द क्वेश्चंस। मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा। वी गॉट 2800 प्लस पीपल वाचिंग अस राइट नाउ।
Oh wow, great. Lal
ठीक है,
Salam.
बिकॉज
You know this scarf is Palestinian के solidarity में I'm wearing this scarf. Okay, in solidarity with the Palestinians.
हाँ,
अच्छा, anyway, you were
तो
about to say something.
हाँ, तो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, आई कंप्लीटली फॉरगॉट माय चेन ऑफ थॉट। हाँ, ओके, सो
हाँ,
मैं अभी आपको थोड़ा सा दिखाता हूँ। सर ने आपको बताया कि भाई रिमलैंड हार्टलैंड क्या है, भारत क्या कर रहा है। आई टेक अनदर 2 मिनट्स, 2 to 5 minutes टू एक्सप्लेन टू यू भारत का क्या गेम है। एंड ये जो पूरी कॉन्वर्सेशन हुई है, मैंने ये जो मैप्स आप देख रहे हो ना, अभी जो अभी से दिखाऊंगा मैं 2-3, ये आपको पहले भी दिखाए हैं। एंड यू विल स्टार्ट कनेक्टिंग व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू। ठीक है, सो just hear me out for 2-3-5 minutes and then we'll get into your questions. I know there are loads of questions you guys are asking, so we will figure this out. ठीक है, सबसे पहले देखिए जी, ग्लोबल सिक्योरिटी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्या है। जैसे सर ने बताया था ना, यूएसए टॉप डॉग, मैंने बताया था 1945 ब्रेटन वुड्स में उसने सबको बोला कि भाई नेवी। आज वो बोलता है भाई मेरे पास इतनी नेवी नहीं है, मैं जरा वापस जा रहा हूं, लेकिन मैं जरा पावर सेंटर्स बना के जाऊंगा ताकि आप लोग मेरे साथ काम करके सेट करो। तो एक अमेरिकन हेमिस्फीयर है लेफ्ट पे, यूरोप में नेटो है जो एक्सपैंड हो रहा है आर्कटिक की तरफ, जहां पर बोलते हैं ना द नेक्स्ट गेम इज गोना हैपन। मिडिल ईस्ट में आईमैक बनाने की बात हो रही है। ठीक है, उसकी ऑपोजिशन कहां थी, पैलेस्टीनियंस की। वो पूरा सोल्यूशन आपका सामने आ रहा है ऑलरेडी। ठीक है, वॉट एवर विल हैपन, पैलेस्टीन विल गेट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अ recognition, ना मिले जो भी मिले, this issue will come to some sort of a conclusion, right? Because
वो
the
single
status quo
single
is not,
state single state में जाएगा,
I don't
मतलब
know.
two state जाएगा with West Bank only. They'll wipe Gaza out of the map.
ठीक है, तो कुछ ना कुछ होगा, बिकॉज ये जो करंट सिचुएशन है इट्स नॉट वर्केबल।
Yeah.
एंड उस जगह के लिए I2U2 बना हुआ है, इंडियन ओशन रीजन है जहां पर आप बैठे हो बीच में। ठीक है, एंड आप नेवी बना रहे हो कि भाई जरा एक्सपैंड करो अपने आप को। थर्ड एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर के इंजन ढूंढने तो राजनाथ सिंह जी गए थे अभी। ठीक है, तीसरा आपका ईस्ट में आ रही है, वहां पर क्या है, ऑकस है, क्वाड है। ऑकस तो दूर की बात है, 2040 2050 की तरफ बात कर रहे हैं वो लोग, बट न्यूक्लियर सेटअप के लिए टाइम लगता है। उस टाइम के बीच में आपको ये भी पता है, जापान, साउथ कोरिया सब बोल रहे हैं भाई हम तो न्यूक्लियर वेपन बना लेंगे। एंड कई लोग बोलते हैं जापान इज लिटरली 4-5 स्क्रू टाइट करने हैं, दे रेडी। ठीक है, सो इफ जापान हैज वन, ताइवान विल गेट वन, या नहीं तो उसको कवर मिल जाएगा। ऊपर से क्वाड है जिसमें भी आप हो। सो इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग गेम कि आपकी जो एक ग्रोथ हुई है, ठीक है, विच इज प्रोवाइडेड फॉर अ वेरी ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। एंड अगर आप टर्किश मैप्स देखिए, विच इज एक्चुअली अपोजिंग भारत आईएमएक, यू नो वेयर इट ओरिजिन्स फ्रॉम, अरिंदम जी?
Where? Pakistan.
नो सर, इट कम्स फ्रॉम मुंद्रा पोर्ट इन गुजरात।
अच्छा,
आप अर्दोगान की स्पीचेस देख लीजिए, आफ्टर दैट व्हेन ही वेंट एंड क्राइड, नहीं नहीं ये आईमैक ठीक नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है। उसने भी मैप रिलीज किया था कि यहां से ऐसे करेंगे आप। मुंद्रा पोर्ट इन गुजरात, इट डज नॉट कम आउट ऑफ शंघाई।
अच्छा,
ही डज नॉट टॉक अबाउट बीआरआई। ये रचत तैयब एर्दोगान है भाई, जो कश्मीर 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 देखो साहब ये सब।
yeah.
ठीक है, अब मैं एक और मैप दिखाता हूं आपको, विच इज कॉल्ड द ट्रेड रूट्स ऑफ भारत। इन ट्रेड रूट्स आपको क्या दिखता है, वही है रिमलैंड बेसिकली।
Again, yeah.
ठीक है, यू आर स्प्रेडिंग योर इन्फ्लुएंस इन दिस पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन इटसेल्फ। सेम थिंग, सऊदी अरेबिया, इजराइल, मेडिटेरेनियन, यूरोप, ईरान, अप इनटू रशिया। ठीक है, इस तरफ से साउथ ईस्ट एशिया, मलाका, स्ट्रेट इनटू रशिया आफ्टर दैट। एंड रशिया भी क्या बोलते हैं, चेन्नई व्लादिवोस्टॉक करो, व्लादिवोस्टॉक से सेंट पीटर्सबर्ग करेंगे हम। कहां से, आर्कटिक से।
Arctic route से, that's opening up, yeah.
एंड किसको लेके जा रहा है? वो चाइना को नहीं बुलाता उस कॉन्फ्रेंस में, वो आपको बुलाता है। आपके साथ डील ऑलरेडी साइन हो चुकी है, आपके सेलर्स ऑलरेडी ट्रेन हो रहे हैं रशिया के अंदर इस टाइम पे, मुरमांस्क में, राइट? सो अगर आपको दुनिया में कुछ करना है गाइस, दिस इज द गेम। तो रियल पॉलिटिक जो आपको आज दिख रही है तेहरान से, सब कोई वही बात नहीं करना चाह रहा, क्योंकि इसराइल में उसने जो करा है, आप जाके तेहरान में खड़े होकर उससे बात करते हो एंड यू से ओके बॉस, सिट डाउन, लेट्स टॉक, बाय द वे माय शिपिंग कैन नॉट बी डिस्टर्ब्ड, प्लीज टेल योर हूती पूती और व्हाटएवर दैट थिंग इज। ओपन क्वेश्चन वाज गिवन, ओपन इंस्ट्रक्शन वाज गिवन टू ईरान। ही से सर मेरे को तो कुछ चाहिए, ओके लेट्स साइन डील विद चाबार, आई विल स्टार्ट सेंडिंग सम स्टफ। अफगानिस्तान जा रहा है, मैं उधर पे भी भेजूंगा, रशिया तक भी, नो प्रॉब्लम। यू साइन द डील, लेवरेज लोगे ना आप उससे, एंड द लेवरेज वुड व्हाट, दैट स्टूपिड ड्रोन दैट केम एंड हिट वन शिप, which nobody talks about. So if you need to play the game, guys, China took the heartland theory, he wanted to go across through the heartland and control that entire area. You're taking a
Yeah.
different step, which is the rimland, right? And you're trying to control this by your trade, because trade means economy, economy is power, simple as that. That's all I wanted to say.
यहाँ पे there's one thing, as far as can you go back to the map, that trade route
Yeah,
map?
sure. Which one? Trade route wala? Okay.
The last map,
Yep.
yeah. See, China essentially, यहाँ पे एक चीज समझना है कि the kind of the philosophies that these nations follow. West essentially believes in balance of power politics, and West believes wholeheartedly in heartland and rimland and maritime routes and trade and conflict and so on and so forth. Russia, अभी जैसे आदि बोल रहा था कि Russia lost a lot of its influence. Soviet Union lost a lot of its influence when it collapsed, and Russia has been trying to build that influence ever since then. And Putin has done, with all due respect to him, this man has done a wonderful job in like kind of bringing back Russia
Building it
from the
back.
brink.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, 2004-5 में क्या हालत था, and 2008 में when it took on Georgia, and after that 2015, like it's been hardly but like 10-15 years, one lifetime, one man has changed, has turned this country around in a magnificent way, and now they are talking about civilization, uh, states, so on and so forth. But Russia is also an expansionist power. Yeah, it is essentially a land expansionist power because its geography is such. And if you want to read, you can read more on that. Who is a land expansionist power? Who is a sea expansionist power?
Yeah.
China took the Central Asian route, and China took the Eurasian landmass route through its Belt and Road, or One Belt One Road, kuch bhi bolo, project initiative, because again China is an expansionist power. But China tried to combine, ये Silk Route wala business mein China tried to combine. They were taking out sea routes also. That is why CPEC was so damn important to them, because Malacca Strait में जो problem है, and Malacca Strait को China wants to avoid Malacca Strait. Okay, so if a ship is coming in, assume that there is no Houthi trouble and there's nothing, and the ship is nicely sailing through Suez Canal, and it takes the Red Sea route, Gulf of Aden लेके आराम से आता है, ग्वादर में डॉक कर देता है. ग्वादर से सीपेक का जो रूट था, which takes you straight to Kashgar and Xinjiang province and all, वहां से, I mean, I think I wrote an article some couple of years back. It was a calculated 40% reduction in cost or something, and some 24 days reduction in shipping time, etc., etc. It was a massive benefit for China, for the
Yep.
samans coming from Europe and going to Europe. So China had a lot of things banking on this CPEC. So essentially, again, if we step back and if we try to look at Heartland, Rimland, China was trying to be a power which combined both Heartland and Rimland and land route and sea route. The problem that faced China was that China suddenly stretched itself very thin.
Too much.
The
Too thin.
advantage, yeah, the advantage that USA has is that they can keep printing their own money, which obviously China cannot do that. Hence, there's this concept of a currency which is not dollar and which controls the trade, and which through which the southern bloc, the emerging multipolar world, would carry on their trade, which is coming up. India is, does India, first of all, does India believe in heartland, rimland? Adi, personally feeling is, I don't
No,
think so.
no.
Yeah, because
I
India
can.
is,
I'll sorry, but if you look at our medieval trade routes, and if you want, okay, one second, I'll get you the maps out for that. I
what, the
have the
old
maps
Silk
here.
Route maps?
No, no, no. The medieval Bharatiya trade routes. मेरे को
अच्छा, अच्छा.
2 minute दो. I will take those out also because वो भी मैंने we've done that presentation on DevTalks as well. It took me almost a month to get those slides. बड़ी मुश्किल से मिली थी ये. Me and General Narayan sir, we both actually went uh, and did this. बड़ी मुश्किल से करा था हमने ये. So one second, it's just getting processed. Guys, sorry, this thing is going to become a little long, but मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. Yeah, if you see the medieval trade routes that we had,
Mm,
we used to use
mm.
the same ways that you're trying to develop today.
Yeah,
This is AD 400. ठीक है? This is the little forward. Look at this. It's the exact same trade routes, right?
yeah,
Silk route and spice route. आप देख रहे हो कहाँ से जा रहा है वो? Same thing.
yeah.
So we are coming back to our roots now.
What I'm trying to say here, Adi, is that are we through this trade route trying to influence our way into rimland? Probably no. I mean, are
No,
we trying to hard influence in our way to rimland? Probably no. We are trying to like kind of build up this. What again? Coming back to what again Jaishankar says, that you bring your advantages, I bring my
I
advantages. We
bring
work to the
mine.
best of our ability. Yeah,
Yeah.
work to the best of our ability. Don't assume that I'm a pushover. I used to be one, but now there is a certain amount of economy that I have, so it is only quite natural for me to want to look after that kind of an economy. Am I an expansionist power? Am I somebody who believes in Mahan's
Nope.
maritime influence and Spikeman and Halford Mackinder? Probably no. So therein lies
So
the difference between
yeah,
what
you've
United
said this.
States.
You said one thing very important: the difference between a revisionist power and a reformist power.
Yeah,
China and Russia want to revision the world. Russia not so much. You are saying the world order is fine, but I just need it to be reformed to make it more inclusive.
yeah,
जो जयशंकर जी यही बोलते हैं ना, आप ही कोट कर रहे हो उनको.
yeah.
And
So, in fact, as I said, that it's so simple. It stares you on your face, and you still don't make any head or tail out of it, because that's not the way the world has been. World has been programmed, or the world has been progressing over the past 200-300 years. Everybody is talking about access and control, and here suddenly you have a diplomat who's talking about let's all sit at the table and let's all discuss what all we can bring. So that's something which shocks the hell out of everyone.
yeah, that's a good catch actually. That's a good catch. Saab, I must
Yeah.
say today is, I mean, I can see, I don't know, can you read the comments? There's
No, I
two
can't. I
options.
can't. I can't read the private chat.
Oh, okay.
Acha,
You
comment
have
में
to,
comment.
you have to read how people are,
Okay.
trust me, enjoying this chat. ठीक है? And the kind of feedback that we're getting is not even funny. Okay?
Okay, great. Yeah.
It
अच्छा,
is
एक
amazing.
इसमें तो एक बात तो ये भी है कि मुझे आज तक पता ही नहीं था कि इसको ऐसे कमेंट पे क्लिक करने से कमेंट मिलता है. I always
हाँ,
see the
सारे हैं.
space blank and I like,
सारे हैं.
okay.
ठीक है?
अच्छा,
So
अच्छा, ये मेरे को पता ही नहीं था.
we've actually gone through the world order today. एंड आप गाइस, आप लोग जो अब देख रहे होंगे, आपको अभी पता चल रहा होगा ईरान में झगड़े क्यों हो रहे हैं. तो एंड ट्रस्ट यू मी गाइस, जो भी आज हमने डिस्कशन और बीच में रेवलेशंस टाइप निकाली है, हमने कोई प्लान नहीं करी थी. वी जस्ट डग इनटू द डिस्कशन
Yeah, this was
एंड ही
a
पिक्ड अप
pure
समथिंग फ्रॉम व्हाट आई.
adda. But personally, I am a little worried about what Iran is doing because it's opening up three, four fronts.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Nabi, इसमें ना एक हो गया ना, it's a race against time. Since we haven't opened for question as yet, it's a race against time. Either United States is stretched at bloody Ukraine and bloody Israel, and इधर Houthi मार रहा है, उधर वो कर रहा है, ऊपर से ये लोग ईरान पे अटैक कर रहा है. Ulta, Iran is now making missile strike in Syria. It's making missile strike in Iraq. It is hitting Pakistan. So it has also opened three, four fronts. Now, in to my mind, what Iran probably is trying to do is drag this for as long as possible till the election, the November election comes in, because
ah,
I'm sure
yeah,
there's some
yeah,
game somewhere.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what Joe Biden is trying to do is now Joe Biden very dearly wants this to not spill out of control. Netanyahu is not listening to him. That's his bloody problem. He wants to keep it as contained as possible because यार election year है. एक तरफ से हम यूक्रेन को पैसा देते आ रहे हैं, ओके ठीक है चलो अभी कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, बट देन things are looking a little shaky as far as Ukraine is concerned. We can focus on you, Israel, but please don't let this spill out. And Israel is hell-bent on spilling this out. तो ये मेरे को थोड़ा पता नहीं क्या होगा आगे
गड़बड़ है।
जाके.
नहीं, देयर आर वेरिएबल्स। आपने 2-3 बारी बीच में टॉक में भी बोला था, एंड आई एब्सोल्युटली एग्री विद यू, देयर आर वेरिएबल्स इन दिस। ठीक है, अभी जैसे रशिया का एक वेरिएबल हमने देखा, भारत का एक वेरिएबल देखा, अभी इज़राइल का वेरिएबल आप बोल रहे हैं। ट्रस्ट यू मी, आई एब्सोल्युटली एग्री विद यू, एंड आई थिंक यू नो आई एम गोना से दिस बिकॉज़ इट्स माय डिमांड, बिकॉज़ ट्रस्ट मी, दिस वाज़ अ वेरी, वेरी इन्विगोरेटिंग डिस्कशन फॉर मी। वी हैव टू डू दिस अगेन, एंड वी हैव टू डू दिस अगेन इन अ लिटिल डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट, क्योंकि थोड़ा-सा डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट, आई एम श्योर इट विल बिल्ड अप जैसी-जैसी चीज़ें होंगी, हम ये दोबारा करेंगे, वी विल रीएड्रेस इट एंड वी विल सी। Trust you me, the
श्योर.
Jugalbandi has been amazing today. I've really enjoyed myself. It's been awesome.
सेम हियर, सेम
Guys,
हियर, सेम हियर. एंड
guys,
आई कैन सी द कमेंट्स. थैंक यू.
ठीक है, तो गाइस जरा लाइक करिए सब वीडियो को जोर से, ठीक है, जोरों शोरों से। अभी 1000 कुछ लाइक्स हैं, वी कैन टेक इट अप टू 3-4,000 लाइक्स। प्लीज हिट द लाइक्स सो दैट दिस डिस्कशन रीचेस मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ पीपल। इसके मैं शॉर्ट्स भी बनाऊंगा, इसके क्लिप्स भी बनाऊंगा, आई विल पुट देम आउट देयर so that you guys can actually see this again and again. This is an absolute critical episode. So please do that. And guys, if you can, please contribute towards my efforts. The QR code is up there, or the PayPal link is below if you guys want to contribute directly. Otherwise, you can use the super sticker, super chat option. Let's go. Right. Chola Empire, number one. Thank you so much. He says there's a prevailing theory that Pakistan and Iran is a case of you scratch my back and I scratch yours against separatists. Why would it not be the case?
Okay. See, Pakistan has taken the missile strike back into Iran. So my guess is it would probably stop here. Now there is a section of people which is wanting to say that which what Chola Empire is saying is right. I scratch my back, you scratch my back, and things are fine when things are normal. When things have sort of blown up like this, where you've got your proxies who are trying to starve Israel off somewhere in Lebanon, and you've got another set of proxies which is trying to attack ships of United States and United Kingdom, this is all but an open war. Under such situation, you scratch my back and I scratch yours, probably that equation changes a little bit. And that is a time when any state, and especially Iran is an aggressive state, you have to keep that in mind. Iran would want to make a statement that, there are few territories that are within my reach, which is Iraq, Syria, and Pakistan, and I can hit you guys if I want to. There are a few territories which are probably not within my reach, which is the Red Sea area, or which is probably Israel, because the stakes are too high there, and I couldn't get my proxies to fight that for me. But as it stands today, I am a regional power and I deserve to be treated with the kind of respect that I think I deserve to be. So that was the reason behind this strike, is what I think. Now Pakistan has struck back. I hope this will I think this will end here and there would not be any more flare up, but you never know. So
The
yeah,
countries may stop, but who will stop the groups?
yeah.
Varunji, thank you so much for becoming a member. Vicky Sinha, thank you so much. Great geopolitical knowledge. I'm addicted to it. Thank you, Sab. Thought provocator, thank you so much. Munir, हूतियों और यूथियों पीटीआई वाले के बीच फंस गया है।
ना पाकिस्तान ये तो इमरान को तो कभी आने नहीं देंगे. He's got special instructions to let that man rot. I don't think they're gonna let him out anytime soon.
I kind of have a little I'll disagree with you
Hmm.
here. I think he's been kept alive so
नहीं
that
है, जिंदा है.
when Nawaz Sharif screws up, you can
We'll bring it back once again. But are they provided they can housebreak him?
करेंगे
Because
यार.
if the no, because if the army says कि आगे से मान लो आगे का 15 साल हम लोग को यूएस के साथ रहना है और this bugger starts getting close to China and Russia, then he would have it once again. I hope he's learned his lesson if he comes
No,
back.
no. He hates China. Huh? He hates China.
I know, but that's like a वो क्या बोलते हैं ना necessary evil for him.
हाँ. Of course.
Yeah.
Venkatachari, thank you so much, Ji, for your contribution. JB, thank you so much. He says Iran strikes Pakistan. भारत का सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक नेक्स्ट.
No.
आपका सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक चल रहा है ऑपरेशन सर्व शक्ति में. एंड जो अरिंदम जी ने बोला था कि अगर कश्मीर में कुछ गड़बड़ हो सकती है, उसके लिए आपको डोमिनेशन करना है. अगर जेपी जी आपने मंडे रात का एपिसोड आप थे वहां पर, कर्नल अजय रैना की जो बात थी उसको जरा थोड़ा सा सोचिए. उन्होंने क्या बोला था? वी वांट टू डोमिनेट सो दैट कहीं ना कहीं ये इन्फिल्ट्रेशन रूट्स को पुश बैक किया जाए राइट टू द लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल. क्योंकि कई बार बिकॉज ऑफ सर्टन रीजंस आप नहीं कर पाते हो. तो यू गोना पुश इट बैक एंड डोमिनेट द रीजन बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं आपको पता होगा ये गड़बड़ होने वाली है, क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो रहा है. यू डोंट नो द इंटेलिजेंस व्हिच इज देयर.
And
आई
there is
वुड
one
जस्ट से
more
दैट.
thing, which is the fact that this would be a great opportunity for India. Why? Because there's this vacuum which is now being created with the removal of the top layer of the old-time jihadis. So
जी.
it'll take some time for Pakistan to organize the ISKP back and to retrain and to regroup them. So this kind of a window that you are getting, that India is getting, is a good time to organize and set your thing in Kashmir, so that
जी.
when shit is trying to hit the fan, you can stop it there. Maybe 1 year
Absolutely.
down the line or 2 years down the line.
Absolutely. Sanjay Maini ji, thank you so much. He says, Adi ji, thank you for this platform. You're doing a great job making youth familiar with unsaid and hidden information in geopolitics. Thank you, ji. Thank you so much. So nice hearing stuff like that, man. I mean,
Mm.
it's really heartening. Devi Guru Prasad ji, thank you so much. Ask sir, is it worth it if we wait for Afghanistan to take control of Gilgit, then negotiate, or Bharat should snatch it back from Pakistan at the correct time?
यार ये गिलगिट को लेके इतना फैसिनेशन क्यों है?
यार आई ऑल्सो डोंट एग्री विद इट ऑनेस्टली. मैं तभी थोड़ा सा इधर उधर देख रहा था बिकॉज एवरीबडी नोज आई डोंट लाइक टेकिंग इट बैक. जब तक आपके हाथ में नहीं आके गिरता तब तक नहीं लेना है.
नहीं लेना है यार. Taking a territory is not the end of the story. It's like controlling that territory for the in the future. क्यों अपना
जी.
सर बढ़ा रहे हो यार? ये सब करना ही नहीं चाहिए. At least at this stage.
At this stage. Shashank Kothari ji, thank you so much, sir. This could be a precursor for redrawing of the borders by USA as well as diverting Iran's resources to de-escalate Israel pressures from mullah fronts.
ईरान का रिसोर्सेज डाइवर्ट करना इन द सेंस आई द क्वेश्चन इज नॉट क्लियर. इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द मिलिट्री रिसोर्सेज ऑफ Iran, Iran is smart. Iran has got a lot of proxies employed at a lot of places and they are going to get activated the same way United States has got a lot of proxies, and we were talking about ISKP and ISIS just about a few minutes back. So they are all going to try and sort of activate whatever resources they have and cause the maximum amount of damage to each other. Iska planning, frankly speaking, if you ask me, I don't think anybody in the United States planning agencies have planned it 2-3 years in advance. वो कर नहीं पाते. In fact, I think I wrote this also, that
They're
United States has
strategic.
good plan.
Absolutely.
They're absolute idiots sitting there these days.
Yeah. Yeah. With the kind of resources, if you give that to us, we will not rule the world. We will have the world with us. Bharat's game. And you'll
Yeah.
have the influence. But ये लोग, you know, क्या 2SLGBTQRSTXWXYZ.
What is that?
That's the new.
क्या? अच्छा LGBT. अच्छा अच्छा
हाँ.
अच्छा.
Venkatachari ji, thank you so much once again. Kangaroo, thank you so much. He says, Adi, love your work. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Venkatachari Saab, again, thank you so much. It's an honor. Sudhish Casey Saab, thank you so much for your contribution. Kangaroo has become a member. Thank you so much. Kangaroo has become a member. Ravi Malhotra ji, thank you so much. Excellent discussion. World domination game analyzed. In the end, all major powers will be decimated and go back to their shells. Yeah, but
You never know. And I mean, depends on what you mean by the end, because this has been going on for the past 2000 years, almost more than that,
yep,
maybe. So
yep.
the game goes on. I mean, I call this the great game. There's this concept that England and Russia is the great game. So to me, World War One and Two was great game. Cold War was great game. This that is going on is great game. So these are all different parts and different mutated forms of great game.
Ji.
And the game goes on.
Manjari ji, thank you so much. Explained world happenings very simply, aptly. Venkatachari ji has also become a member. Thank you so much. Viksit ji, thank you so much. Iran will try and extend the fight with Pakistan because they want to unite Iran. Since there's a lot of internal fight, a common enemy unites people. Interesting theory.
Iran would want to extend the fight with Pakistan. Iran can extend the fight with Israel. That's a bigger uniting factor as far as Iran is concerned. Now, what
Well,
problems you are saying about, yeah, but what problems, Viksit, you are talking about Iran is this Iranian civil society going against the Iranian leaders and the Iranian ruling class and things like that. That is something which probably is not going to be resolved by Iran going to a war with Pakistan or with Israel. That is going to be resolved between Iranian government and Iranian civil society. And with all due respect to whatever is happening, this anti-hijab, headscarf, and all this movement, a part of it seems to be funded by the United States as well. So again, it's a tricky situation there. So you never know who's buttering which side of the bread and which cause to follow and which cause to stand up for and honestly believe in.
so US has launched another strike on Houthi.
So they can
So
keep
Arindam ji, it's about.
launching.
I know you're very tired and you get up early morning. I'm going to take 8 more minutes and we'll run through some questions. Okay, because there's
Sure,
so much audience. I want to kind of make sure that people
sure,
are
sure, sure.
involved as well. पार्थ मोदा जी कहते हैं क्या चीन ने ईरान से कहा है पाकिस्तान पे हमला करने के लिए ताकि अमेरिका को उलझा जा सके ताइवान पे हमला करने के लिए
नो नो, चीना कभी नहीं बोलेगा ईरान को पाकिस्तान में हमला करने के लिए। और ऐसे नहीं होता है भाई, ऐसे कंट्रोल थोड़ी होता है। आई मीन, आई कांट कमांड अ कंट्री टू गो एंड अटैक अनदर कंट्री, ऐसे नहीं होता है। कंट्रीज प्रायोरिटीज आर देयर प्रायोरिटीज, कोई किसी को नहीं बोल पाएगा। और चीना, और एक और बात है, चाइना हैज गॉट इट्स सीपेक, द वन दैट वी वर डिस्कसिंग मी एंड आदि फॉर सच अ लॉन्ग टाइम। सीपेक पे कोई प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा तो चाइना का ही प्रॉब्लम है ना, सो दे वुडंट वांट।
जी सनाउल्लाह चौधरी जी कहते हैं कि दिस इज अनदर ट्रिक बाय द यूएस टू डाइवर्ट वर्ल्ड्स अटेंशन फ्रॉम इजराइल पैलेस्टीन इशू
व्हाट, व्हिच ट्रिक?
ईरान
व्हाट ट्रिक?
पाकिस्तान में झगड़ा कर दो ताकि वो भूल जाएं लोग
Iran Pakistan are two tiny fries compared to our Israel Palestine issue, which has got literally the entire world involved in Twitter, on
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, TV, everywhere. Iran Pakistan kya hai? Trust me, half of United States citizens won't be able to point out Iran and Pakistan on a map if you
Yeah.
ask them to.
वो नहीं नहीं ये इंग्लैंड में एक बंदा गया अभी वो
हाँ,
पैलेस्टीन प्रोटेस्ट में ओ रिवर टू द सी पैलेस्टाइन पूछता भाई कौन सा रिवर कौन सा सी कहता जी
which
मैं भूल
river?
गया
Okay. I guessed as much.
I mean, I also want something to be done for the Palestinian people, but at least I know what the hell is happening there. By the way, guys, I'll tell you something. से इसमें बात करें एक ना Ask Palestinians करके एक चैनल है YouTube पे
अच्छा,
जरा देखो उसको वो वहां पर ना लड़के लड़कियों से पूछ रहे हैं आप दूसरे सिटी के लोगों से शादी करेंगे क्या रमल्ला वाले बोल रहे हैं कि हेब्रोन से शादी करेगा, कि वो बेथलेहेम वाला बोल रहा है, कहता ना, कहता क्यों, कहता वो ट्रेडिशन अलग है हमारा, कहता गाजा वाले के साथ क्या क्या ख्याल है, कहता ना ना पागल है क्या, वहां कौन जाएगा।
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's the
Gazans
reality
actually,
of the problem.
even the West Bank people won't touch Gazans with a barge pole. Everyone's a
Sir,
little thing
nobody
of
wants to touch the Palestinians. पिछले 70 साल से
Yeah.
ये 5 कंट्रीज में घूम के आए हैं, 5 कंट्रीज ने निकाल दिया इनको।
अब पांचों में झमेला करके आए ना, जॉर्डन में झमेला
झमेला क्या
किया,
करते
सऊदी
हैं ये,
अरेबिया
दे गो फॉर द हाई सीट सीधा, बोलते भैया हमको।
या और वहां पे जितना भी डिसेंट, वो क्या बोलते हैं, जितना भी टेररिस्ट एलिमेंट है वो लोग के साथ दोस्ती करता है, एंड देन दे स्टार्ट कंस्पायरिंग अगेंस्ट द गवर्नमेंट एंड ऑल।
या
अरे पैलेस्टीनियन का तो एक्सपीरियंस अपने को है दुर्गापुर में, व्हेन वी वर स्टडीइंग बैक इन दुर्गापुर। आई ग्रू अप इन दुर्गापुर, राइट? सो वी हैड आवर रीजनल इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज, आरी कॉलेज देयर। ये कोटा में आते थे वो लोग, वो यूनेस्को के थ्रू कुछ कोटा वोटा होता था। कुछ नहीं, 5 साल 4 साल यहाँ पे रहेगा, कुछ नहीं, पढ़ाई करेगा, दे विल फेल सेमेस्टर आफ्टर सेमेस्टर, एंड देयर एंटायर एम्बिशन इन लाइफ इज टू सेटल डाउन हियर। अच्छा, हर साल तुम फेल करोगे तो तुम्हारा स्टाइपेंड बढ़ जाता है। Okay, so they would keep on occupying the hostel, they would keep failing year after year, and their धंधा was 5-6 साल यहाँ पे रह जाएंगे तो कुछ एक प्रोसेस था, यहाँ पे यहाँ के रेजिडेंसी के लिए अप्लाई कर देंगे, एंड गेटिंग मैरिड टू अ ब्लडी इंडियन गर्ल, दैट इज देयर एंटायर धंधा इन लाइफ। और बाइक वाइक चलाता रहेगा, अपना जो पैसा आता है यूनाइटेड नेशंस के थ्रू उसको उड़ाता रहेगा, पढ़ाई लिखाई कुछ नहीं करेगा। वी हैव सीन दोस पीपल एंड दे आर नॉट, you know, I don't know, not your and my kind of people actually.
they've become
Not
son-in-laws of the world यार, problem is that,
actually, yeah.
ठीक है। JP, is Bharat starting the carrot and stick approach with its neighbors?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't want to think so, actually.
Yeah, I don't think so. Our approach is a bit softer than that.
Yeah. And now that you're growing strong, and now that you've got a good economic growth in place and all, and it's getting you good results, I think this is the approach that India is taking, Bharat is taking currently, is something which is worth a try, at least for the next 4-5 years. उसके बाद डिसाइड करेंगे कि कौन सा ठीक रहा, क्या रहा, कुछ चेंज करना है, कुछ नहीं चेंज करना है। बट एज ऑफ नाउ आई डोंट थिंक, आई मीन, if you have Maldives in mind when you're talking about carrot and stick, no. Probably, yeah, Narendra Modi visiting and Lakshadweep was a very subtle way of saying that, yes, we can pinch you where it hurts. But the fact is, would it go all out to hurt Maldives?
He didn't do anything, sir. He didn't do anything. It was us. It was we who did it. He didn't. Government is looking around and wondering, "ये हुआ क्या भाई?" It was us who bloody got after them. You think the government called so many Twitter people, hey, tweet kar, hey, tweet kar, hey, tweet kar.
Retweet करो, नहीं यार, किसी का टाइम नहीं है।
Tejas ji, what do you think about the project for a new American century, PNAC, theory of dividing Pakistan in 3 places? Looks like it's on in full force. Yeah, well, the project for new American century and Rolf Peters' works are quite similar, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, any
PNAC,
thoughts?
Pakistan, again, going back to what we were discussing about dividing Pakistan. देखो, Pakistan, it is very easy for somebody like a United States or like a China to divide Pakistan. Pakistan को divide करना तब it will make sense for United States when United States has gotten access to Central Asia through a country which is not Pakistan,
Iran,
and Iran or Afghanistan or whoever, Turkmenistan, I mean, I don't give a damn, but it's not Pakistan. So United States doesn't have to depend on Pakistan. Point number 2, it would make sense for United States to balkanize Pakistan when United States decides to take China head on and destroy China's One Belt, One Road project. Point number 3, it would make sense for United States to destroy Pakistan when US decides कि यार इंडिया के अगेंस्ट लेवरेज रखने के लिए पाकिस्तान का मुझे जरूरत नहीं है, मुझे कुछ दूसरा मिल गया, मुझे बांग्लादेश मिल गया, मुझे श्रीलंका मिल गया, कुछ मिल गया, तो आई डोंट नीड Pakistan. These 3 things have to, and Adi, if you have anything in mind which you want to add.
Pakistan will still remain.
वो छोटा एक कुछ रह जाएगा, पंजाब एंड सिंध प्रॉब्ली, और फिर सिंधी लोग झमेला शुरू करेगा पंजाबी लोग के साथ, बिकॉज सी द पाश्तून प्रोविंस इज गॉन। ओके, वो मैप में दिखाता है पाश्तून प्रोविंस इज गॉन। इफ बलोचिस्तान निकल गया कुछ दिन में या कुछ साल में, तो रहा क्या पाकिस्तान का?
Good point. बट नहीं वही है ना, वो छोटा सा एक लेवरेज रख लेंगे जहाँ पर 2-3 टट्टू टट्टू उगरे होंगे और हमारे पे तंग करते रहेंगे वो।
हाँ, लेकिन वो लेवरेज भी लेवरेज नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि अगर सिर्फ पंजाब और सिंध रहा तो तुम्हारा को सेंट्रल एशिया का एक्सेस नहीं मिल रहा है भाई।
जी,
वो तो गया
जी।
तुम्हारा।
उसके लिए बलूचिस्तान काटना पड़ेगा ना आपको।
हाँ, उस और probably get ISKP into Afghanistan back once again and boil Afghanistan for the next 20 years। और अफगानिस्तान का तो किस्मत तो ये में ही है, मरते रहो, बॉयल करते रहो।
आई होप नॉट
I
यार, दैट
was
कंट्री
reading,
इज गोइंग टू।
yeah, but it's terribly bad luck, yaar. I was reading the other day some writer somewhere who was like openly wondering ki why are Afghans so hooked on to external ideas.
ओके, इंटरेस्टिंग।
Yeah, he was talking about the Mujahideens who came in and the Arab Mujahideens who came in and who had the maximum amount of influence. He then talks about the ISKP which is coming in, which is again a Salafi Wahhabi ideas,
या या
which is not an idea which belongs to Afghan soil, and the Afghans are once again getting influenced by it. And he is
जी।
forcing this problem coming to Afghanistan again. So he is saying, यार तुम लोग का तो भी अपना कुछ है ना, तो उसको लेके रहो.
And why did Mackinder choose the shape of the pivot area? He categorically left out relatively ancient civilizations of China and Bharat.
देखो यार, मैकिंडर ने क्यों नहीं चूज किया ये तो नहीं बोल सकते. व्हाट आई थिंक वाज मैकिंडर वाज ट्राइंग टू sort of stress upon that area that was the origin point of the Huns and that was the origin points of the Mongols. And Mackinder was also trying to stress upon the area because of its natural resources deposit. Mackinder was also trying to stress upon the area. Remember, this is 1904. Okay,
What a
1890
colony at that
1880s
time.
में. Yeah, and 1889 1890s में I think the common border between Great Britain, which is like Indian Britain, जो यहाँ से इंडिया से होता था, और रशिया के बीच जो बॉर्डर था, which was drawn at Panjde, that got established. So there was a buffer zone that got created, and after that, England and England and Russia were sort of like kind of had come to an understanding in between each other, and they were not like fighting each other directly. Okay, this was to change in 1930s once again, but 1904 was a time when Halford Mackinder was probably, a lot of people think that way, probably trying to very subtly, very indirectly, trying to prompt the English lawmakers and the English politicians and the English generals and everyone, ki boss, excuse me, the boss, this is an area, the pivot area is an area जहाँ पे Russians are sitting nice and pretty, and you guys have not done anything much. You guys have just gone to the northern borders of Afghanistan and you have drawn the line. You probably should push Russia a little bit more. Hence, he focused on that pivot area. So a part
Good,
of Mackinder's presentation of pivot area could be political as well.
good answer, I must say. Congratulations. Krishna Iyengar, very good point, Arindam ji. Take away US naval aggressor, Russia land defender.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. Those doctrines of Albert Pike are similar. What makes deep state to follow such things? Greater Israel and the Third Temple.
नहीं समझा मैं कुछ.
The whole Jewish thing, the Jewish lobby and this and that. Albert Pike has written about that, right? The whole, the revitalization of the Jewish kingdom.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, this is another theory that they talk about, but I don't think it'll happen because the Israelis just don't have the population to go that far.
Yeah.
Even if you give them the West Bank today, they won't be able to populate it. So itna hoga nahi wo. It's a little difficult. But yeah, you're absolutely correct, Roll, that the stories are absolutely correct, similar. SN, this is an interesting question, an observation. Mackinder, Mahan, and Spikeman all maps from geographical ring falling between the latitude of 10 degrees to 38 degrees. This ring is always kept boiling, most of the conflicts all the time.
And this is what Adi was pointing out, no? If you look at the rimland, this is where the problems are. Western Europe, this is where the problems are. Eastern edge of Western Europe, which is like a gray area where Central Europe is. That's where problem is. And if you think Ukraine problem is going to stop with Ukraine, no, Poland is probably going to invade Ukraine the moment Ukraine problem with Russia stops.
Stop.
So Europe is going to remain burning. You've got a Caucasus which is burning. You've got Iran, you've got Israel, you've got Pakistan, Afghanistan, blah, blah, blah. That entire region is burning, which Adi was pointing out. But the entire rimland is basically now kept destabilized. With what idea, frankly, I don't know. If United States thinks that, next 10, 15 years down the line, it will be able to control, that's like high hopes. That's not going to happen. So probably they're going to destroy or try to destroy Eurasia as much as possible. That's what my guess is.
Just a second. Okay, Batra ji says, Adi ji, ड्रोन लेके मुइजो ने एक्ट ऐसा कर दिया कि एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर ले लिया. सर उसके पास एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर जितना बड़ा आइलैंड नहीं है. This is a funny comment. Ravi Kumar ji, Adi ji, thank you for this wonderful platform. Also, looking at the current scenario, how difficult will it be for India to get a full-scale war with China if China decides to attack Taiwan?
Why would India want to get into a full-scale war with China?
No.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And even, frankly speaking, even China is not a kind of a... China has never been tested militarily. So it is not a kind of a power. I don't know. If this were to happen, if what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, if this were to happen between China and some other country, I don't think China would have survived this long, actually. In fact, Russia has gone from strength to strength. China would probably have like kind of folded and disappeared half by this time now.
Even Ukraine, you got to give it to them.
Tough guy there.
You got to give it to them.
Tough.
There's no question about it. Harmeet Singh ji, there is a theory for North America, like the Heartland and Rimland containment theory.
Yeah. That
it's
there is no... bolo, Adi bolo.
Why, na? Monroe Doctrine.
But that is their theory. That is their, Dadagiri theory. This is our hemisphere and you're not supposed to mess in our hemisphere.
When the Britishers went into the New World, as it was called, America in the 1600s, when they established the colony of the New World, which was called America, right? It was because it was an island. And if you see the old maps that they had, this thing, they emphasize the fact that it was surrounded by two sides of water. The Brits found it very difficult to safeguard themselves in that little island that they had. So they wanted to find a new world where they could kind of, keep themselves safe from the, as the Chinese call the Russian barbaric monsters. That's what the Britishers also call them. So,
but अमेरिका को कंटेन करने का एक ही तरीका है, जो मैंने बोला यार, ट्रूडो को रखो वहां 20-25 साल और, and infiltrate that bloody place with as many Middle Eastern and North Africans as you can. All guys are fighting है, उसको भेजो वहां पे. Then see the fun. Then America will understand. एक तो नीचे से तो मेक्सिकन घुसे जा रहा है for their vote back. They don't know what's coming. Okay, so give it another 3-4 years and there'll be a mess there. And us ऊपर से अगर if the Palestinian starts pouring in from Canada, then तो American containment वहीं पे खत्म, सब Heartland, Rimland सब वहीं पे हो जाएगा उसका.
जी. Nargis ji, who's our friend from Afghanistan, can this Iran-Pakistan conflict be an American plan to distract from the Israel-Gaza war? We've kind of taken this up, but I just wanted to say hi to Nargis. She's back after a long time. ओके, मुंशी जी, मैं आपका नाम मुंशी जी बोलूंगा, बड़े टाइम के बाद ये वर्ड मुंह से निकला है. What role does Mongolia play in containing China? For the last few years, India has started engaging with Mongolia. Is there some game to be played here? Russia can leverage China from Mongolia.
See, as I said, that India is probably not trying to play the game the way we've discussed the game. Okay, so India engaging with Mongolia could probably be to impact them culturally, to help them build their economy, to sort of establish a kind of a relationship with them. Does it have this end, assumption in mind that, okay, by building Mongolia, we are going to pressurize China? Probably no, because Mongolia doesn't have that kind of a clout anymore. the Mongol days are gone basically. So
Uh, I'd like to add one thing. The Chinese internet cables go through Mongolia.
okay, disruptions.
Yeah. All the internet cables that they cross into Mongolia, into Russia, into the Arctic, and across to the states.
Okay.
So the cables were laid like that. This way would have been very long, right? So they laid it like this.
Hmm.
And Mongolia is critical. That's why the third war of China is on Mongolia. And
Taking
that's
the
one of the
territory
reasons why
back.
the Chinese want Siberia, because that's where the cables go from, and they want to control the Arctic that way. So
And they also have this historical thing about this was our territory. वो तो उसका कुछ
yeah.
भी territory उसको अपना ही लगता है.
JBJP, thank you so much. This Modi government did two surgical strikes. Why not third? मोदी साहब से पूछना पड़ेगा यार. I am Kalp Vriksha. We need more people like Zoana Reacts. We need more like her to win the psychological warfare. Please give us some more support. Shout out to her. I don't know what she does. I will be sure to check it out. But as a matter of fact, yeah, a shout out to her as well. Do you know about this channel?
No.
Okay, even I don't. Fair enough. Venkatachari ji, thank you so much once again. Dr. MPC, how can India save Guyana?
अच्छा, ये वेनेजुएला वाला जो प्रॉब्लम चल
हाँ
रहा
जी,
है
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
वो वाला, वो मेरे ख्याल से ज्यादा मतलब फ्लेयर अप ज्यादा नहीं करेंगे.
Really?
But if Adi, if you've got some, inside news and all, you can.
I
But
I mean, they're quite. Well, Maduro is quite hell bent. If only if Americans start buying some fuel from him,
mm,
then थोड़ा ठंडा हो जाएगा. आपने भी थोड़ा सा खरीदना शुरू किया है. $600 billion का आपका उसके साथ वो था, ट्रेड डेफिसिट था. Your money was stuck there, as a matter of fact, from I think 2014, 15 sometime. जब से फंसा हुआ है आपके पैसे. So now you've taken some oil from him,
okay.
because the oil that Venezuela has and the oil that the Russians have funnily speaking the same quality, so you can use it in the same refinery.
Mm,
So if you notice that the Americans have also started buying some Russian oil, the reason is that the west coast in America, all their refineries are programmed to take the Venezuelan oil.
Venezuelan oil.
But when they kind of went into the sanctions with Venezuela, they replaced it with Russian oil. So now they're kind of buying from both the places to get those refineries back on. So that's that's the thing. So if America can leverage a little more and more countries with buy oil, I think he'll let it go. And the last question we will take, Kshitij Goyalji, thank you so much. He says China is eyeing to enter the Bay of Bengal through Myanmar. They already are into Maldives. Is this dangerous?
This again, yeah. This game is this is the game actually. Whoever gains an upper hand becomes sort of a potential danger for whoever doesn't manage to gain an upper hand.
Yeah.
So that's about it. But as far as their recent friendship with Maldives go, let's see what happens. Myanmar, maybe when we talk about Myanmar and when we talk about China, recently, even if you this last podcast that I had with Adi, we were talking about Myanmar, where China is facing certain problems because there are certain terrorist groups that have been sort of activated and they have started taking control of the different the commercial rastas, roadways and routes, or at least the places where these roads run through. So China doesn't have it very easy in Myanmar.
It's terrible.
Probably someday कभी जाके problem solve होगा, तब होगा, किसने देखा पता नहीं. And Maldives का भी पता नहीं. Let's see. I mean, it's too early in the day.
Might I just
So
add, आपका भी एक port है वहाँ पर, which is called Sitwe, which is about 100 kilometers north of the Chinese port, which is known as Kaikfu. So, uh, not that bad. You can figure it out. And the CMEC, which is the China Myanmar Economic Corridor, जैसे अरिंदम जी बता रहे थे, वो जो Shigang state है, जो central, there are three states that have been formed: Shin State, Shigang State, and another one I forget the name. Central जो Shigang state है, वहाँ से CMEC आता है. and those guys hate China, so
Yeah.
it's a bit difficult right now.
And it's a logistic nightmare because you've created a road route which is running through a territory which is being controlled by someone else, which is not the bona fide
Yeah,
government of Myanmar. And based on that, if you are planning to mount a project, or if you're trying to mount a strategy, that would be a disastrous decision to make, basically. So it's not as easy as it looks. Tying up with a country is something, and as we said, when we were talking about Gilgit Baltistan, कि ले ले और ठीक है, उसके बाद क्या करोगे? You need to have a plan, and you need to have an execution
yeah,
of
yeah,
that plan.
yeah.
So it's like that.
Arindam Saab, I think this has been a mind-boggling presentation for, I mean, for me, it's been really amazing. Maza aa gaya. Especially your
Thank you.
inputs connected with a lot of stuff that I had in my mind, and I think the combined cake came out to be really, really cool.
Yeah, it was a
Right?
great
The
chat.
way, the way you explained the the heartland and the rimland and trust you me connected a lot of dots, and I think a lot of people are going to gain out of this. So on guys, just before I sign off, please like this video and like it so much so that Arindam ji becomes a regular feature weekly or 10 daily on dev talks, so that we can have these kind of debates on dev talks, which is interesting because we both learn something. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.